missing me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north, south, and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now.
Dallas Fort Worth, AALAC, the Chasing Your Dream Book Tour and Expo is coming to your area. Mark your calendars, May 18th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have some amazing authors, some amazing business owners that's going to be sharing about their brand. We have some workshop facilitators that's going to be coming out. They're going to be teaching on branding, marketing, and networking. I want you to plan to be in the building, to be educated, empowered, and encouraged. Come out, support.
Aspiring Authors Magazine is a founding sponsor for Da Crew podcast. Get featured inside the magazine and allow your voice to be heard around the world.
Aspiring Authors Magazine is an international magazine founded in May of 2020 by Queen Angela. Get featured.
At Wings of Transformation Publishing, we are committed to helping our authors reach their goals and pursue their dreams of becoming published authors. We work closely with each author to ensure a successful publishing experience, and we are dedicated to helping them tell their stories in the most meaningful and impactful ways. We look forward to putting you on the path to writing your book.
Checking to see where my head has been, and I've been apologizing to some people, some bridges I needed to mend.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new edition of Let's Chat with Nat. I am your host, Natalie Harvey. I hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday evening. Hope everyone has had a good week that just passed and a great weekend, and that you are just doing fine and wonderful, and everything is just all copacetic today. We're gonna just jump right in. Again, this is Let's Chat with Nat. You're watching the Crew podcast. If you have not yet done it, please like, share, and subscribe. Anytime that you see any one of the hosts for or any of the podcasts on our network, come on, join in, share, be a part of the conversation. Tonight's topic is gonna be basically my hat says it all, mom life. And this week coming up, it is the week of Mother's Day. This is Mother's Day weekend. And as we think, many of us that are mothers, or we are mother figures, or we may be aunties that play the role of a mother or godmothers, sometimes you just have to stop and wonder, like, sometimes I used to do this, and it may sound a little strange, but if you're a parent, you get it. Sometimes you're like, did I really create this child? Like, this human being really is a replica of me, of they have my mannerisms, they have my some of them have my it's just so much. I go back to, I always say Mother's Day weekend will always be a vital and an important and a pivotal change in my life, because I never forget when I was pregnant with my first son. Because if you don't know, I have two boys. They are 21 and 18. And I will never forget when I was pregnant with my first son, that Mother's Day weekend is when I just finally decided to tell everybody, even though they could already see it. But you come out and you say, I'm pregnant. I'm having my first child. And I will never forget um two ladies that were very special to me. And I always call them like part of my angel crew. I will never forget, they said to me, "You got this because you were raised by strong women. You have that mother instinct in you. You helped raise so many children." And at the time when I first had my first son, I was 20. I turned 21 that December, and this was back in 2002. And I would never forget, I was just like, I knew I was ready for it. It was just one of those things where I was like, you know what? I did the deed. I was grown enough to do the deed and enjoyed it. But I'm just saying, I did the deed. So in my mindset was, I can handle this, regardless of as to whatever challenges may come. I'm ready for it. And I would never, ever, ever forget that Mother's Day weekend. It was like the pivotal point in me accepting that, oh, wow, I'm really going to be a mom and my life is really changing, and I'm going to be responsible for another human being. And it always just shocked me. And then I remember just how I thought back to my grandmothers and my mom and my aunts and my godmothers and all the different women that have played such a pivotal part in my life and my upbringing. And it was just like, you know what? I have so much of them inside of me that I can do this. I got this. And, sometimes if you come from that background or generational, how you say it, lineage, where you're able to talk about the experiences of being a mother and motherhood, you sit back and you recollect on those conversations. And I always remember, like, I would see, at the time, I used to watch like my cousins with their children, and their children were young, and I used to be the one to babysit. And I remember just watching them, and then talking to my grandmother and hearing her experience when she had my dad, or even just like my own experience with my mother and I. And trust me, sometimes you'll wonder who's the parent and who's the child when it comes to being my mother. But it was just, you sit and you recollect and you look and you understand, like, wow, if these women can do it, I can do it. And don't get me wrong, sometimes there's just days where you just feel like you're losing your natural mind, but it's all a part of the process of accepting and becoming a mom. Sometimes I meet new moms and they're like, well, you don't look like you have grown kids. And I say to them, I say, listen, I said, I have grown kids, but trust me, I've been through some things with my kids. And as a mother, we hold the world in the palm of our hands. Civilization began with us. We birth civilization. So when you sit back and you start to ponder on that, and you think about the generations that are going to come that have your lineage inside of them, it's like, oh wow. Do I want to leave a legacy that is going to speak to who I am and to who they are. And you just sometimes that makes you wonder, like, am I doing it right? Do I have this all together? And then the days where you're just like, listen, I don't, it is what it is. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. To me, that's when the most impactful situations happen. And that's when you know how we would say you put on your big girl drawers or your big girl panties and you just say, listen, this is what it is. This is who I am. I am these humans or these individuals. I am their mother and I am going to fight for them. you know I've had situations with my kids where I have had to turn into the lioness queen bee. And you know when I think back on those situations, I'm like, but if I wasn't their mom, would they have somebody to fight for them in the way that I fought for them? Would they have somebody to be their advocate? And being an advocate for your children, it's the most rewarding thing possible. I love when I can advocate for my kids. Sometimes they get me mad when I have to advocate, because then when you have to hear they didn't do something, or you hear the truth. Some parents don't want to hear the truth about their kids, but you have to be open enough to know that your children are not perfect. Just like we're not perfect as parents. But to be that parental advocate for them in that time of need and in that time of knowing that they need you to be there, that is the most fulfilling thing that I think when you sit back and you recollect, it helps you to see that, you know what, I may not have always got it right, but I did the best that I can in the situations that I had to deal with. For me, my kids have seen me going through health challenges. We've gone through other challenges in our lives, and they've always say, I get that resilience from you. I get that no nonsense, don't take anything from anybody from you. And, I can't discredit their dads, for what they've impacted in their life. But when you are the focal parent, you are the one that they see every day. You are the one that the school calls, the one that has to run with them to the doctor, the one that has to be the bank and be the coach and run to this, run to that, run to the third. It's like you get to understand why they have that respect for you. And then there's days where you just don't want to. You and them are just on two different wavelengths. They're not hearing you and you're not hearing them. And there's always that one child, though, that takes on the personality of the parent. For me, it is my second son. He has my temperament down to a science. He's the no nonsense one. And both of my kids are no nonsense, but my youngest son, that one right there, Corey, that is the one that I would say, if I had to tell anybody between my two sons, I know that I need to stay on my knees for and pray every day for. That's the one right there. Because I tell you, he has my temperament. He has that no nonsense. You're not gonna tell me I can't. No, no is not in his vocabulary. Let's just put it like that. The word no, the word you can't tell me, it's just not in his vocabulary. He's not hearing it. He ain't buying it. It is what it is. Christian, on the other hand, I will call my gentle giant. He is the one that he'll come. If you call him, he'll do. He may not want to do it right then and there, but if you call him and say, Chris, I need you to do this, he'll come and he'll be like, all right, fine. And I say to people, I am glad that I have this opportunity to be their mom. I'm glad that the things that I have experienced has made me be the mother that I am. In the time that I've had to be their mom, you know, there's been days where I just don't want to be. I'd be like, listen, y'all leave me alone. But then there's those days where I just want that bear hug, or that Christian come give me a hug, or Corey come give me a hug. And it makes the difference. It makes my day better. It makes whatever I'm going through, it makes me feel better in that moment. And then I just sit back and I say, God, thank you for letting me be the vessel to birth them. You know, sometimes we don't always get it. We don't always get it right. We don't always understand why we were chosen in that time. Because, like I tell people, when I first got pregnant with my son, my plans for my life were totally different. Children were nowhere in the cards for me. I wanted to live my best life. At the time, I was in college. I was working. I was doing like my little side hustles as a nail tech, cosmetology. I would work at school. I wanted to become a teacher. I had all these great plans. And then I'm like, okay, I can't do everything that I wanted to do. I have to put certain things on the back burner now because I have to be a mom. And a lot of people may get discouraged by that. And at first, I think I did. I think I got a little bit discouraged. But then I realized that, you know what? In order for me to be my best me, I can be me and be their mom and still create the life that I wanted to create for them and for myself. Of course, yes, things may have had to get tweaked here and there. I've started school, started, stop, you know. But again, as a parent, as a mother, I had to make sure that they were okay first before putting myself first. Your needs sometimes comes in the back burner and your children come to the forefront. Um, you know, when I had my second son, I definitely didn't plan to have any more children. And it always happens like that. Has that happened to anybody else? Like when you have your kids, it was in the time and the space where you just did not plan. It was nothing that you wanted to do. It was not in the cards. It was not in the plans. It was not even a thought. But we do what we do. And we have to just deal with what life deals for us. Um, you know, I think back even with my mother. I'm my mother's only child. And it's funny because I see how being her only child, but I have two sisters from my father. I see how being her only child, how it molded me, and then now being a mom of two, how it's so different. When you have to deal with one child versus two children, it's so different because you're dealing with two different personalities, two different mindsets, two different ways of life, technically. And sometimes you want your children to be the same, but you have to remember everybody is different. They can't be the same. You're different. You are different from how I am different. I parent different from how my mother parent, and my mother parent different than how her mother parents, or my father's mother parent, you know and but you have to be able to use all of those things as tools to help you in your journey as a mom. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come right back and wrap up. So we'll be right back with Let's Chat with Nat.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Crew Podcast. Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Crew Podcast. I am your visionary, Queen Angela. And if you are a diva that's looking to amplify your voice and you're looking for a home, we have space for you. Come on over and join them divas of the airways and amplify your voice.
I didn't even realize I was on mute. So we're back. We are back. So as I was talking, we were talking about the mom life and what being a mom means. And as we are getting ready to go into Mother's Day weekend, I just want you to think back about when you first became a mom and how did you feel and what was your fears? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Was your situation a situation where you had a support system? Or even if you didn't have a support system, what was your mindset at the time? Was it, I don't know what to do? Or was it, I'm here, I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to make this be the best situation that it can? And when you think about that, and when you think about women that are moms or want to be moms or happen to be mother figures, because some women are not able to become mothers in the physical sense, but they're able to be mothers in a spiritual and a emotional sense of the word. Those times, some of those situations are the most, again, impactful situations for people or for someone that needs a mom and don't have a mom or never had that real mother figure in their life. Sometimes I have godmothers, I have women that I am very close to that I can go to sometimes with things that I don't go to my own mother with. And having those bonds, having those relationships. I'm a godmother, I'm an aunt. And sometimes my godchildren or the children that call me auntie, they will come to me and they'll express their thoughts and their opinions that maybe sometimes they can't go to their mothers with, or that they feel that their mothers may not understand. And I tell them, listen, your parent was once young. Your parent is human. So what you think that your parent may not have gone through that you're going through, they understand it. It may not be what they want for you at the time, but trust me, as a mother, we understand. As a mother figure, we understand. Don't let it get you to the point where you feel that you don't have anybody in your corner to understand. Trust me, you do. That sometimes we need that nurturing to get us to be who we are. We need those maternal instincts to kick in and help us get us to the next level in life that we need to be at. Being a mother is not easy. Being a mom is not easy by no means. It is one of the most taskful and difficult jobs there is, but it is also the most rewarding. It is the most precious gift, because when you look at your child after they have entered the world and then you see them grow into who they are, that's when you know what? I did this and I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of who I raised. And I'm proud of who I am and who I had to become in order to take on this responsibility. God saw fit to choose me as the vessel, or God saw fit to choose me as the person to be that figure in this person's life. So no matter how hard it gets, don't give up on it. Don't give up on your kids. Press through. Listen, the mom life is not easy, but it is very rewarding. So on that note, I'm going to say good night. Have a happy Mother's Day next week. Whatever you do, enjoy it and think back on what it means to be a mother. Think back on what it means to have a mom. And if you don't have a mom, think back on the times that you shared with your mother and how that impacted you, and hold on to those memories, because they're sometimes those memories are what you need to carry you through some of the difficult days in your life. So on that note, I'm going to sign out. This is Let's Chat with Nat, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me.